What's up everyone, registered dietitian Kara Corey here, and I am back with one of my childhood favorites that I'm adding a little twist to. Growing up, I used to love going to, it was like pancake day with my dad when I was a kid. Growing up, we would eat all the buckwheat pancakes our hearts desired. So what we're gonna make today are gonna be some blueberry buckwheat pancakes, and these are gonna have many health benefits to them. So I wanna discuss that real quick. If you guys don't already, you're going to need to have some buckwheat flour for this recipe, which you can find at most grocery stores in your health food section that sells this Bob's Red Mill or whatever it's called. Bob's Red Mill. Or you can get it off Amazon, whatever. You should be able to find it with no issues. So buckwheat flour, actually even though it has a wheat in it, it is gluten-free, it's vegan, it's all that kind of good stuff that people avoid nowadays that's trendy. But it does have a lot of health benefits. In terms of heart health, buckwheat flour provides a ton of benefits. One that the research has shown does help with decreasing inflammation, and it also helps because it's got a great amount of fiber in there that can help with decreasing those LDL cholesterol levels, which are the bad cholesterol that you want to make sure you keep those in check. So incorporating something like buckwheat flour can really help improve your heart health. And there's also a great source of antioxidants as well within buckwheat flour. Buckwheat flour is actually a seed that's ground into a flour, just a little history there. But there are specific antioxidants in that, and what those antioxidants do, they're basically great little agents that run through our body and help fight off that oxidative stress that can occur in our body. What makes this better, if for those of you that are gonna ask, Kara, why can't I just use a whole wheat flour? That's high in fiber as well. Yes, it is. However, buckwheat flour trumps that because buckwheat flour actually has a really great amino acid profile to it. So there's a lot of good digestible proteins comprised within this flour that make it more of a superfood than your whole wheat flour. So for anyone out there watching this video that may be vegan or vegetarian, buckwheat flour is definitely a staple you should add into your diet to get those good sources of amino acids in your diet, which, as you know, help with muscle growth, muscle recovery, energy, and all that good stuff. So to start today's video, we're gonna make these pancakes up. They're gonna be delicious and high protein. So what we're first gonna wanna do is take your pan, spray it with some nonstick spray or butter, whatever you prefer to use. And I like to get this heated on the stovetop. I'm gonna set it at just like a lower setting because I have a gas oven. So we're gonna set that at a low setting while we go ahead and mix up the ingredients so that your pan is nice and hot when you make your pancakes. That's a crucial point there. The first thing we're gonna do is start with our wet ingredients, and not a lot of ingredients for this recipe either, guys. I'm gonna add 1 whole egg. That's going in there. And before I add anything else to it, and you don't need a hand mixer, I just want you to spend a couple minutes really beating the egg, whipping it all together and getting it a little bit fluffy. Once you've got that all whipped up, the only other wet ingredients we're gonna add is some pure vanilla, just to add a nice vanilla flavor. Not even gonna measure that. Just gonna kinda, probably I would say a teaspoon. Also adding a 1/2 cup of the unsweetened coconut milk. And I'm just gonna give that one more whip and set that aside. Next, in another bowl, I want you to first measure out your dry ingredients. So I have here 1/2 cup of my buckwheat flour. That's going in there. Today I'm using the MTS Whey and Blueberry Muffin to help give it that blueberry buckwheat flavor. And I've measured out a 1/2 scoop of the MTS Whey and Blueberry Muffin. So that's going in there. For sweetener, today I'm just using this Pure Via stevia, and adjust based on your level of sweetness, but I'm gonna add 3 little packets in here. Anywhere from 2 to 4 packets, or sub in whatever sweetener you like. About to add 1 little crank of my Himalayan pink sea salt. And last, I've got baking powder. We are going to add, actually going to do a 1/2 teaspoon, which this is a 1/4 teaspoon, so you're going to see me adding 2 in there. And once you've got all that in there, I'm going to mix that up and add it to our wet ingredients. Now I'm just gonna slowly add in the liquid ingredient, the wet ingredients to the dry, and just keep mixing it all together. See, buckwheat flour is gonna add a darker type color to any of the recipes you include it in. And buckwheat flour too, for anyone that maybe hasn't tried it, the reason why I really like it is that it just has a really nice nutty flavor to it. So expect that it is gonna be a little bit of a different flavor, a different color in any of your recipes. You're gonna find with these two, they're probably gonna help keep you much more satiated, which means feeling full for a lot longer because of its high nutritional profile on it in terms of the fiber, the protein, and also just the good nutrition, all the antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. So next, to make this even more blueberry-y, I'm gonna add 1/3 of a cup here of some blueberries. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and fold those in the batter. If you want, you could save some to set on top too. And now we are all set to start cooking our pancakes. So for your pancakes with cooking them, I like to use a measuring cup to measure them out in equal size pancakes. That's just gonna make it a bit more aesthetic for me with making the thumbnail, but optional for you guys. You guys, these pancakes smell ridiculous. The blueberry and the nuttiness from the buckwheat, you can just smell, can you see it through the camera how hearty these pancakes are? This is good nutrition right here. You're gonna get 4 great sized pancakes from this recipe with a really great nutritional profile at 49 carbs, 9 fat, and the fat could be a little bit lower if you choose to not use coconut milk, and 27 grams of protein. So right here, this is kind of a well-balanced meal to start your day off right. Make sure you get on that buckwheat flour game so you can make some gains. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and keep checking back for more. Oh, they're so good. I love buckwheat pancakes. I did good. I'm making everything with buckwheat flour now.